Hello everyone, welcome back. Warren here. Hey, I was out doing some hiking in the woods. It's a nice day, so it's not windy. It's cold, so it's not windy at all. It's a beautiful day, other than being single digits, you know. But hey, that's the best part, you know. The nice thing about winter, especially in Alaska, is it's beautiful out. You know, it's gorgeous. You get the white, the snow, you get the frost, and you know, clear, and as long as it's not windy. The wind really cuts through you and really makes things cold. But if it's just cold and not windy, you can deal with that a lot better. And there's no tourists here either. Not that tourists are bad, you know, and they come mostly in the summer, you know, to have a good time and enjoy the summers are beautiful. They're beautiful, and the land is beautiful, and the flowers and everything's blooming and growing, and the fish are here. And don't get me wrong, but to me, I think winter is better because, well, it's quieter, there's less people out, and you can really get out and enjoy yourself and not be crowded or anyway. But that's just my opinion. So, but one thing I wanted to talk about today in the winter is and I did a little video about tea, making some homemade tea there, and it was more about hydration and all that, but I mentioned about chaga, and so here's a couple pieces of chaga. I don't want to take my gloves off because it's cold, but there you go. And this still has the black on. It doesn't look very good against the black glove, but anyway, let's see. Hold it in my hand there. So I leave the crust on. A lot of people, let me adjust this, guys. There we go. Step back. Put my glove back on. A lot of people, they scrape the black crust off, they, you know, and throw it away. The black crust has stuff in it, has properties and important things in it. So I make sure there's no bark on it, no fungus, things growing on it, because, you know, when you find it on the trees, sometimes, you know, it has stuff, you know, you don't want any foreign objects on there, you know. Sometimes there's spiders or bugs and stuff, but anyway. So, and then I see a lot of people crunch theirs up and grind it up into a powder, and they'll use it for tea, and then they drink their tea and throw it out. And so what I do is I steep mine. You know, I'll put it in hot water and I'll steep it, and I'll make chaga, and I can keep that in a bottle and use it and use it and use it, and that way you get more, you know, I think more bang for your buck out of the chaga. And also, like just out in the woods here, you carry this in your pocket or your pack, and you put it in your cup, and you make some chaga tea, and then when you're done, you just take it out and you let it dry. Put it back in your pack or your pocket, and you go on your way. And then when you're all done with it, as I said before, it's a great tinder fungus. And in an emergency, you have some of this in your pocket, you can use this as a tinder fungus, you know, to help get you an ember, get going. And it works really good with magnifying lenses. So with the sun, you can get an ember on a fungus, get an ember going, and then transfer that ember to your bird's nest and get a fire going. And that's one way I use it. But anyway, so don't chop this up and just waste it. You know, use it once and be done with it, because as I've heard and read, it sounds like chaga only grows on 1 in every 1,000 birch trees. And now, I don't know how many birch trees are in Alaska. There's a lot. But like the forest I'm in right now, there's one over there. This is mostly black spruce, and this is a small black spruce forest. And so there's not a lot of birch in here. So that's, you know, another reason, but is you never know when you're going to be. You're not just going to find chaga. And if you find it on a tree, it's usually wet. It's growing. It's part of the tree. So, and some people just call it a parasite, but parasite usually destroys the host. And chaga has actually been known to help trees grow and keep growing. And so it's not really a parasite. Pardon me. But I had some hot tea just a little while ago. But anyway, so I see, I don't know, to me, I see it getting popular, and it's popular in the health community, and people say it's curing cancer, and people are talking about it, and I'm worried that people are just going out there and collecting all the chaga there is. And then pretty soon, I mean, this is a fungus, it spreads by spores. And chaga doesn't spore that often. That's why it's so rare. And so they're going to be collecting all the chaga they can collect. You know, it's high value, it's high in price, and they're going to be collecting it and trying to sell it and make a buck off of it. And pretty soon, it's going to be hard to find. And the demand will still be there. And then usually what happens is, then you start in with the counterfeits, or they start, you know, which brings me to another point, is if you buy chaga, which I would never buy chaga, because you can't guarantee where they get it, where it's come from, and how it's processed. And because I know a lot of places that sell chaga, they buy it from people. Just like everyday people, they will buy chaga from people, chunks of it, so people go out looking for it to sell. And so you don't know when they've collected it. I was always told that you should harvest chaga in the fall, when it's cooler out, and not in the summer or the spring. I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe you know. But then again, like I said, you don't know when people collected it. You don't know how they harvest it. There is kind of a wacky look-alike that grows on cottonwood poplar trees that's not chaga, but it has the black crust and a little, but anyway, it's not chaga, and it's a little different, but you don't know if people are getting the right stuff. And then they grind it up and they sell it. You don't know what they're grinding up in there. And I'm not trying to say that anybody's trying to deceive you or sell you the wrong product. I know a lot of people that sell it are very into healthy living and healthy products and that, but you know, what guarantee do you really have of what you're getting? And they're charging quite a bit for chaga. So I know where I have found it, and I don't harvest everything I find. What I usually do is I write it down in my notebook. So I know that there's chaga where there's chaga in the areas I go and where I can find it. Because also as it grows bigger, right? So you want to let it grow and mature, and so I only take what I need to use for like the next little while, and then I know where it is. Because you got to dry it out. Once you harvest it off the tree, you got to dry it and let it dry and sit and not mold. You know, it can go moldy. When it gets wet, it can go moldy. If you use this in your tea and you put it in a plastic bag, it's going to go moldy. So that's why I have a cloth bag. That way it'll dry out. Or if you leave this in your thermos, it'll go moldy. And then you really don't want to use moldy chaga, right? Yeah. But anyway, so those are kind of my thoughts on chaga. Is let's be responsible. Let's use only what we need. Let's not waste it. Let's use the whole plant. Use it, you know, wisely and sufficiently, and you know, go from there. And hopefully we'll keep having chaga forever. It has a nice flavor. It's kind of an earthy dirt flavor. I don't know how to describe it. I mean, it's not very bold. I'm not a coffee drinker. I mean, I drink some herbal teas, you know, so I'm trying to think of what's the closest thing. It kind of has a woody flavor almost, you know, I don't know, but that's usually drinking it out of a kuksa too, which is a wood cup. So, you know, you got the wood cup flavor, add the chaga, you know, fungus and herbs and whatever else is in there. So I guess it's better than drinking plain water, right? Just plain water is kind of boring. But so anyway, it gives you a little something. But those are my 2 cents on chaga and what to do with it and how to use it and be wise with it. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you around.